Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Karli Barnett. We're here at the First Alert Desk, and we want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Sunday. We hope everybody's been having a good weekend and enjoying that beautiful weather that we had today. Definitely a change of pace from the last few days, kind of like a little touch of fall. And we're going to have First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin join us in just a minute to tell you more about that. But in the meantime, I wanted to give you an idea of what some of our crews are working on and the news that we're gathering for our evening shows. As you all know by now, because it is football season, we are not going to have our newscast until 10 o'clock tonight on Peachtree TV and 11 or possibly a little bit later on CBS. I hope you will join Tori Cooper and I, and we will see you there. But in the meantime, we did want to give you just a little bit of a look at some of the news we've been following. This is some breaking news that we recently got into the Atlanta News First newsroom. We have a crew that just arrived at this scene, and they're getting more information on this, but we have learned that a man is under arrest after shooting police, they say, at a busy Cartersville intersection. This happening in Bartow County. Police responded to Highway 41 South and Marketplace Boulevard just after 3 in the afternoon in reference to an accident, and they found a man who they say was walking down the road with a gun. Police say that man fired at officers who shot back. The good news here is that nobody was hurt in that incident, but that man is now in custody. I don't have any video to show you of that yet because, again, we do have a crew that's out there. They're in the process of gathering more information, and we're going to have more on that tonight. You can also continue to check back with AtlantaNewsFirst.com. We do have the information that we know there as well, if you'd like to take a look at that. Now, Atlanta Police, they also responded to a shooting. We have some video here of the gas station that police say they found a man and a woman had been shot. This was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is 101 Hamilton E. Holmes Drive Northwest. That's where you're looking. They say a 40-year-old man and a 35-year-old woman had been shot. The man was conscious, alert, and transported to the hospital by ambulance. The woman was taken to the hospital also by ambulance, but was in critical condition and eventually succumbed to her injuries. The preliminary investigation indicates that the victims had been shot at a different location before arriving to Hamilton E. Holmes Drive by a private vehicle. Police say that investigation is ongoing, but what we do know is that a man and a woman had both been shot. The man, so far, his condition is unclear, but we do know that the woman has died as a result of her injuries. At this time, police have not released any names of those involved, and they are still investigating this. They were found at this gas station, but they do believe that the two people were taken there in a car, and it's still unclear where the actual shooting happened. So there's still a lot of questions regarding this case, and that is something that investigators are looking into now. Atlanta Police say the investigation is ongoing. I want to tell you now about a story we reported last night. Anchor Tori Cooper first bringing the news to you here at the First Alert Desk yesterday. That is because a new soccer headquarters is coming right here to Atlanta. So very exciting. Of course, we have a lot of things coming to Atlanta, but soccer, biggest sport in the world, that's definitely noteworthy. Our reporter Joshua Skinner has a little bit more on that.
USA Soccer recently announced it's building its new headquarters and its first ever national training center right here in Atlanta, making the city America's new soccer capital. It's no secret that Atlanta has passionate sports fans.
This is a city that represents the new America.
Fans like Matthew Lascota.
This was the scarf after they won the championship. We got 6 more scarves on us.
And although the Braves recently won the AL East, again, the city experienced a win Friday that took place outside the field of play.
This is a once-in-a-generation moment for soccer in the U.S.
USA Soccer announced it will move its new headquarters to Atlanta from Chicago.
We already got them on the rap music, so soccer is another thing that we really want to pull forward.
They'll also build their first ever national training center in Atlanta. With fans like this, who arrived hours before kickoff, it's easy to see why.
We are a soccer city, and now we are the capital of soccer in this nation.
Meaning USA Soccer will no longer live the nomadic lifestyle.
I think that's a pretty big change in the whole U.S. soccer community.
Instead, it'll be the American epicenter of the world's largest sport.
I think Atlanta is becoming the mecca of a lot of things. You know, we start with music, now we're moving to movies, and then soccer and other sports alike are really all going to follow behind, especially with this move.
At Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Joshua Skinner.
This is a great day in the ATL.
Atlanta News First.
Such exciting news there, of course, especially for soccer fans. But even if you're not a soccer fan, I think it's just great to see that more and more is coming to Atlanta, and we can be so proud of our sports teams. Everyone loves to have that little hometown spirit, so we love to see it. The next thing that we want to bring you to, another big event that's happening here in Atlanta over at Piedmont Park right now for at least the next couple of hours, is Music Midtown. We have some new video from Music Midtown today. One of our videographers capturing these images. Now, if you know anyone who's been there these last 2 days, you know the weather hasn't exactly been cooperating, but definitely looks a lot clearer. You see those muddy shoes right now. Yeah, people definitely having to walk through a bit of mud, that's for sure. I've seen other videos where it's just seemingly up to their calves pretty much, but definitely a much better picture today. So if you were out at Music Midtown any of the other days, or if you know someone who's out there, thankfully, they got a pretty nice day today. I think they earned that after the last 48 hours. But the big headliners tonight, Guns N' Roses performing and Lil Baby. And that goes on until 11 tonight. So still a little bit of time. Definitely something to keep in mind that it's going to get a little hectic around Piedmont Park area, especially as the evening winds up. But we want to turn your attention to the outside again. We're going to give you a live look outside right now, because we, of course, want to see how the weather is going to be shaping up the rest of the night, but also for the start of the work week, Cutter. We are almost to Monday again.
Yeah, just a few hours away, right? For some, it's the beginning of their weekend. For others, you're getting back to work, back to school, and you will notice, you're probably already noticing a difference in temperature out there. It's a little cooler than it was this time yesterday evening. Keep in mind, yesterday was a fairly cool day because we had all the clouds and the rain around. That kept temperatures cool, but it was, at the cost of rain. We had to deal with the gloom in order to get the cooler temperature. And you may have noticed yesterday, yes, it was cooler, but it was also very, very muggy. So it didn't feel quite as cool as it would have if the humidity was low, because we did have that mugginess. Meanwhile, today we had the sunshine. No real rain after some morning showers, and we had the low humidity and the breeze, and this evening we have much of the same. Temperatures already starting to cool out there. The humidity remains low. That breeze is continuing to blow. So it's an absolutely stunning evening across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. We've been noticing temperatures dropping fairly quickly across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So we're looking at a stretch of cooler mornings this week in the First Alert forecast. I want to remind you, we're streaming on many platforms right now, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, First Alert weather app, the Atlanta News First app, and we're streaming right now on YouTube. Atlanta News First is the account to like and to follow. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, you can navigate over to YouTube, give me a holler, and I'll be monitoring the feed and seeing if any questions do come in. Right now, let's talk temperature around the metro. Downtown, 78, already down to 73. In Dunwoody, temperature is largely in the low to mid-70s outside of the perimeter. 75 Covington, 74 Conyers. Dallas, a typical cool spot, already down to 70. Look at Alpharetta, top end of the screen there, 68 already. And, of course, it is early in the evening, only 8:24 your time now. So temperatures will continue to cool pretty quickly. Blairsville also down in the upper 60s, 74 Canton, 75 Carrollton. With the breeze that's still blowing out there, it feels absolutely amazing outside. All right, let's talk hour-by-hour temperature. I think by 9, we're going to drop another handful of degrees, probably back in the mid-70s by 9:30. Lower 70s by 11 p.m., 1 a.m. upper 60s. Then mid-60s, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning for the early risers. Getting out the door early, it'll feel very comfortable, if not a little bit on the cool side, especially outside of I-285, the perimeter. And then 62 is your forecast low temperature tomorrow morning in Atlanta. That'll happen, coolest point of the morning, maybe 7:30 or so. Then back in the mid-60s by 9. And tomorrow morning is not the coolest morning of the work week in that extended forecast. Here is the layout of the next 7 days, next 7 mornings. 62 your low tomorrow, 59 on our Tuesday morning, 62 Wednesday morning, 64 Thursday morning, mid-60s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. That's very comfortable stuff. And the fact that it's not just cooler in the mornings, not just cooler in the afternoons compared to the 90s that we have had, but also It comes with low humidity and an overall very, very nice forecast. In fact, hour by hour, we're going to be talking about tomorrow in a sense that features nothing but sunshine. Going to be hard to find much in the way of cloud cover at all tomorrow. And I'll show you this. Hour by hour, this is a forecast model, what a computer thinks radar and satellite will look like through the day. Starting it at 3 a.m. as temperatures cool. There's the coolest point of the morning. Around 7 a.m., notice lower 60s Atlanta, but upper 50s Covington, Dallas, Rome, Carrollton, Roanoke, Alabama, LaGrange, Georgia. 60 in Eatonton, far southeast of the city of Atlanta. And then we'll start to warm up just a bit. Here we are mid-morning, 10 a.m., upper 60s to near 70 in town, and in many communities by that point. Early afternoon, maybe just after lunch, 1:30. Temperatures in the 70s, ranging from lower 70s up in the mountains to low to mid-70s metro, and maybe mid to upper 70s inside the immediate city, early to mid-afternoon. I think most will stay cooler than 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Warmest point of the day between about 3:30 and 5 p.m. or so. City of Atlanta may officially hit 80 degrees, but we won't be there long. We're certainly not going to be warmer than that, warmer than 80 all afternoon. You're just going to kind of get up to it, maybe be there for about 15, 20 minutes, and then immediately you're back down to 78, 79. One of those kind of temperature trends as we get into tomorrow afternoon. Again, hour-by-hour forecast taking you deeper into your Monday evening, 6, 7 p.m. Temperatures comfortably back in the 70s, some upper 60s up in the mountains by 7. For any later evening plans, temperatures already, for example, Blue Ridge, tomorrow evening, 11 p.m., already 57, 69 in Atlanta. That's downtown, 63 Lawrenceville, 64 LaGrange, and in Roanoke, Randolph County, Alabama. So high temperatures tomorrow. Look at how pleasant this is with nothing but sunshine. 79 Atlanta, some right up against 80 as mentioned. 78 up on Lake Lanier, perfect day. Maybe you have a long weekend. You're spending the Monday, your Monday, up in Hall County. On the lake, it's going to be stunning. 81 Athens, 81 Rome, Noonan at 80. Just about everybody soaked in sunshine tomorrow. It's going to be a really nice Monday across the board. And not just comfortable feeling, temperature-wise, but humidity is low, and we'll keep that breeze blowing in that forecast as we get into the afternoon and the evening, maybe gusting up to about 15. So like today, it's very noticeable, but I wouldn't necessarily call it windy. And look at Tuesday morning, going 59 degrees in the city of Atlanta. Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport expecting a low temperature of 59 on Tuesday morning. 84, just as pleasant of an afternoon Wednesday. So yes, we're still going to be in the 80s in the afternoons, but low to mid 80s is a far cry from our lower 90s of late. A little warmer than it was this weekend, but also comes with a breeze, low humidity. And we're not going to be in the 80s all day long, just for a handful of hours in the afternoons and early evenings. 62 Wednesday morning, 64 Thursday morning, 65 Friday morning. First official day of fall is the 23rd. That is Saturday. Meteorological fall and subtle changes in the pattern across the United States as it typically does begin to change season to season. That's already underway. That started, September 1st. And some of these seasonal changes began well to our north near the Arctic Circle in August. But certainly we're starting to feel those changes back here as we get closer to the official start of fall, autumn. That is Saturday, high temperature of 82. Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be watching that potential for a coastal low to develop along the southwestern, across the southwestern Atlantic and along the southeastern coastline. Could become tropical, but, a slight chance. It really just looks like a nor'easter type of a setup where you basically have a boundary or a front kind of stall and an area of low pressure spin up along it. But regardless, the impact's all the same. Higher rip current risk maybe this upcoming weekend along the southeast coast. Maybe from Cape Canaveral, Jacksonville, up to Charleston, Savannah, maybe the Outer Banks of North Carolina, some higher seas, some breezier coastal winds, gustier coastal winds, and that opportunity for wetter weather. So if you do have plans this weekend along the southeast coast, could be impacted by weather, but there is still uncertainty there. We're 6-7 days out still, so that forecast will continue to evolve, and you could see some alterations, some fluctuations in the forecast for us locally. Rain chance remaining relatively low, even in that scenario, just about 20%, mainly on Saturday. I think by and large the weekend is dry to mostly dry here in North Georgia, but we'll be monitoring it for you, keeping you updated here across North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, for any plans coming up next weekend. But between now and then, nothing but gorgeous weather, full sunshine, back in that first alert forecast, along with cooler mornings, comfortable afternoons. Make sure you get outside and enjoy it. I want to remind you, time now is 8:30. Full forecast coming up again. Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate. That starts at 10. Then hopefully, if football allows us to be on time, we'll be back at 11 p.m. on WANF. If not, you can stay up late with us or just always get that forecast in the First Alert Weather app and at AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Have a great evening and enjoy the great weather we have coming up this work week.